All right, welcome back to our third lesson for this week. And in this lesson this week, we're going to talk about taxable income. And what is taxable income? All right, before we can even jump into what is taxable income, we need to talk about this idea of what is income tax. Now, in Australia, we get taxed in lots of different ways. We have different levels of government. We have 3 levels of government: local, which is our council; state, which is New South Wales; and then we have our federal government, which is the people down in Canberra, the Prime Minister and the Labor Party, etc. Now, one of the ways that we get taxed, it's called income tax. And anyone in Australia who earns an income, who works a job and gets paid for doing that job, is required to pay tax and is required to pay income tax. However, going to work for someone isn't the only way that you can earn money. There are other ways that we earn money within Australia as well. Some of them are, for example, if you've got money sitting in a bank account and the bank is paying you interest to have that money sitting there, that's an income for you, so you can get taxed on that. If you own shares in a company, at the end of a year or throughout a year, the company may pay to choose to pay their owners a small little bit of the profit. Now, if your shares generate profit, well, that's income for you and you get taxed on that as well. And the final example I've got there, if you own rental properties and you are collecting rent from people within those properties, that's you getting an income as well. And again, that's then able to be taxed. So why does the government need so much income tax? Well, let's have a look at that. All right. So our income tax, we get it, and it goes to the federal government, those people down in Canberra. And they use that money to help with running large things across our country. The federal government, they're responsible for things like our Defence Force, things like Australia Post falls under the umbrella of the federal government, Medicare, and telecommunication services. So the rollout and the infrastructure of the NBN, that was all up to the federal government. So all our income tax goes towards helping pay for those things and a whole lot more other things that fall under the federal government. All right, now that we know that what income tax is and that our income tax goes towards the federal government, what is taxable income? So not everything that someone earns is taxable, right? If we use some of our income on work-related expenses, right? Very important that it's work-related expenses. Or if we decide that we're going to donate chunks of money towards charity, these amounts are called what we call allowable deductions, right? These are things that we do not get taxed on. Now, you might have heard that as maybe someone in your family or someone you know who's bought something and said, nah, it's all right, I'll claim it back at tax time. And that's what they are doing here, right? When you have your income and you minus from your income any allowable deductions, whatever's left over is what we call your taxable income. All right, so can you make sure you get that statement written there? Our taxable income is equal to our gross income, or everything we earn, minus our taxable deductions. So let's think about that. What is an allowable deduction? An allowable deduction is any expense that can be directly related to your job, right? Me, as a teacher, some expenses that relate directly to my job. My iPad. So the cost of my iPad, I could claim back at tax time. Now, I just want to point out, and I want to make this very, very clear. Let's say my iPad cost $1,000. When I claim it back at tax time, I'm not getting $1,000 back. What I'm getting back is, out of that $1,000, I would have had to have paid tax. Some of that $1,000 goes into my bank account. Let's pretend $700 goes into my bank account. And $300 goes to the government in tax. The thing that I get back, that I claim back at tax time, is that $300. That's the part that comes back to me, not the $1,000. All right. But let's think about this. What are some other things that a teacher may buy that's directly related to their work? Well, you've obviously got pens, pencils, etc. At home, teachers use the internet so they can claim their internet back. They can claim things like sunscreen as well, because teachers need to teach outside from time to time, and when we're outside we need appropriate protective equipment, and sunscreen falls under that. So you can see some of those items there, or all those items there, they relate to a teacher's job, so I get to claim the tax back if I spent money on that. Other things, a builder. Obviously, if a builder buys tools, they'd be able to claim the tax back on their tools. Travel expenses, right? A lot of times builders use their own cars for work. So if they're using their own cars, all the petrol that they put into those cars, it's an allowable deduction to claim back at tax time. I'm going to put down this word laundry, right? A lot of builders have uniforms with company logos on it, and they can't be wearing dirty clothes every day to work, so they need to wash them. Well, they're spending money to wash their work clothes so they can go to work, so they're allowed to claim some money back from washing their work clothes. Zookeepers. Well, zookeepers, again, they've got the laundry that they can claim back. They've got lots of other things. They're working in outdoor environments, so they can claim things like sunglasses back, protective equipment, sunscreen, shoes / boots. They're all items that directly relate to their job that they might need to spend money on, and that they're allowed to claim them back as deductions. All right, so let's go back and look at some examples. Right, here in this example, Cindy earned $56,375 and claimed, that's an important word, because claimed means they're the things they're my allowable deductions, $326, and that's work related, and $125 in donations to charity. So both those items, the $326 and the $125, she should not pay tax on. So her taxable income will be her gross pay, everything she earned, so $56,375, and we're going to take away from that everything that she's claiming back, everything she's allowed to claim back. So 326 and 125. Those were the things that she's claimed. Right? When we sub those values onto our calculator and press equals, we find that Cindy's taxable income is $55,924. And that's the amount of money the government needs to use to calculate how much tax Cindy owes. Right? Let's go look at another example. Alright guys, example 2 here, very wordy. Let's take our time and read through it and highlight. Alright, so Luke earned $49,546, last financial year, so across our taxable time. He also earned, so he's got extra income coming in of $286 from bank interest and $893 in book royalties. So we can see that's all his income. So we need to combine all of them together to figure out what his income was. If we continue reading on, he's able to make deductions of $345 for car expenses. So obviously used his car to travel for some work. And look at this, Luke's also made a donation to charity. He's donated $242. What is his taxable income? So I'm going to use some brackets here. Well, remember, it's everything that he earned. So he earned $49,546 plus $286 in interest plus $893 in royalties. So we've got to add all his income, and now we're going to take away all these deductions, these allowable deductions. So we're going to take away $345 plus $242, because that second bracket, that is all of his allowable deductions. So all the income minus deductions, and what we end up with, Luke's taxable income is $50,138. So that's the amount the government used to calculate his taxable income on. Alright, Year 9. So at the bottom of this worksheet again are the questions that you need to complete on taxable income. If you have time after that, remember there's also 10 quick questions at the bottom that you can complete. Once you've done all that, remember to correct your work from the solutions, making sure you go back, fix up any errors that you have made. Once you've done that, take a photo of your work and submit it to Canvas and get all that done by Friday, 10th of September, as always at 3 p.m. Alright guys, good luck with that, and I'll catch you next week.